People, deluded, I'm back again. Now, football and politics in society, they shouldn't overlap in an ideal world. But in an ideal world, they should. Football mirrors society, society mirrors football. Good and bad, positive connotations and negative. We're not going to get into it. You lot are smart enough to know this. Now, within the current landscape, whether you live in... little kids are playing outside and... this little kid seems to just have the time of his life with this rock and this wooden thing, and he's just going like that. I respect it. Simple pleasures. Can't lie, I hope my kid isn't that simple and amused by basic things like that. No disrespect, and to my unborn child, make sure you do your thing. But on a serious note, people, it doesn't matter where you're living, whether it's in England like myself or wherever, you're dealing with on some scale, you know, this whole epidemic, which is corona, people. And it's a good and a bad thing. I'd say a good and a bad thing because you're seeing the lovely things in man and women and humans, the camaraderie, togetherness. I'm seeing taxi drivers giving free lifts to people in NHS and many different organisations freeing up, you know, hospital, hotels and all these sort of things. And at some scale, you know, I'm sure you lot, you're donating, you're doing whatever. Like, I don't need to sit here and list them all. You're also seeing the evilness in society, people. People still haven't, again, people still have to go to work. If you can work, you should. Like, I'm still working from home. But people still haven't, people are complaining that people are on the trains all packed up. There probably are some that would still do it. But do you really think people want to be busting their arse with this current thing in this country, England I'm speaking of, getting on these trains packed up further, risking themselves to go to this job to pay the bills that will probably clip them when this recession happens? If they didn't need to. It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. And I think with the government, it's amazing how there's been no money tree and money's coming out of everywhere, people. But it also shows just damn right which companies are scumbags. You're seeing little corner shops doing good work, but you're seeing them also boosting up prices and things like that of basic necessities. You're seeing people buy up hand sanitizers and looking stupid now, but buying it and trying to make a profit. You're seeing shops, you're seeing Weatherspoons refusing to kind of act over paying staff, people. Disgraceful from a big organisation like Weatherspoons, where a lot of people are part-time as well and have to watch their pennies a bit quicker, a bit more, and have to be wiser and spend their pennies a little less quicker than they can. It's ridiculous. And you've got Mike Ashley. Now, he first and foremost came into problems because he wanted to keep Sports Direct open, or someone in that organisation did. They got pressured by public and it just was immoral, which it was, and they have got rid of that. But Newcastle's season ticket holders have been charged. Now, that's immoral. That is so immoral. Like I said, a place like Newcastle where, you know, a lot of them are very frustrated because of lack of investment just in society out there. And obviously, you know, football is a working class game. It's being lost to the elites, but it's a working class game. Man are paying for season tickets that have like youths, have mortgages, and especially a thing like this where people are losing jobs, insurers are not paying out, things are happening, loss of earnings on a mad thing, interest rates have been cut, so in some cases it's probably going to cost people to save. Mike Ashley is nothing less of a scumbag, people. It really is disgraceful, and we can't change anything, but when this all blows over, God willing, please don't forget these companies that lacked morals, because there's nothing wrong with wanting to make a profit, but quite frequently, salaries and conscience, they don't link up and twine together. It's always one or the other. You want your salary and got a conscience, you got your conscience, you're not making money, sort of thing. In this sort of dynamic, it's disgraceful. He's been, like I said, Mike Ashley has been criticised by fans after a number of supporters were charged for next season tickets despite the ongoing suspension in the Premier League. The Newcastle Supporters Trust had called on the club to suspend the scheduled payments during this incredible difficult time. Now, I get if bills still need to get paid, they still need to get paid, but it's still distasteful. Some fans were charged £620 on Wednesday, they said, describing the situation as incredibly disturbing. Newcastle, as expected, failed to decline to comment. Now, the fans, the players, I'm sure many of the staff are very honest, but this puts it in a bad light. A club like Newcastle, one of the most highly supported clubs in the Prem, regardless of where they are. You know, it's ridiculous. It's £620. It might not be a lot of money to people, but that's a lot of money to me. So I'm sure that's a lot of money to you. And especially at a time like this, if you've got kids, if you've got, you don't know, who's to say, God forbid, but you've got disabled kids. Now, what's going to happen now with the complications around care and aftercare and AM and PM care and stuff, especially with this coronavirus, because, you know, everything's being stretched. It's disgraceful, people. It's upsetting, man. It's upsetting, Carl. You really need to have morals, man. It really it's sad, people. It's sad. It's sad. It really is sad. Moving on from that, though, apparently Raheem Sterling has admitted he still has affection for Liverpool, despite the nature of his move to City 5 years ago. Speaking via the Instagram account of his representatives, Colossal Sports Management, Sterling said, "Would I ever go back to Liverpool? To be honest with you, I love Liverpool. Don't get it twisted, they're always in my heart. Do you know what I mean? It's a team that has done a lot for me growing up." And to be fair, I think that could be taken a lot of ways, Raheem. I think considering your contract and City not being in the champs, he was speaking quite highly on Real Madrid. I think he's playing quite coy on his future. A lot of that is to do with the new contract. You couldn't begrudge him for wanting to go back to Liverpool if it did happen. The way he left, let's be honest, hindsight's a great teacher, but Liverpool didn't look like they were going to do what they was doing. City were looking like they're going to win the Prem. Obviously, Liverpool have improved and they're going to win the Prem, and they've won champs, which eludes Sterling. So when you look at Sterling, pardon me, and Coutinho, more so Coutinho's situation, you're thinking, why did you leave? I mean, what's to say if Sterling and Coutinho stayed that they'd be doing this? Would Liverpool been able to buy certain players? I don't know, but I just don't think it's as white and black as you stayed, you would have won. But what I mean by he's someone that is not afraid to take the next step. He left QPR as a teenager to go to Liverpool. Liverpool helped him develop, gave him first chance in the Prem. He had some good moments, a lot of milestones. Obviously, it went sour. You heard rumours of, I know Brendan Rodgers has been praising him in recent days, but I'm sure Brendan Rodgers, I don't want to talk too much, but you know, certain people that worked at Liverpool and certain other people, they know what they was doing to the press in relation to Sterling, and it was a bit nasty. So it was a bit ironic seeing certain comments, but I think a bit of them comments are in relation to his alleged contract renewal at City. I think a lot of that is, you know, he's got a lot to think about, you know, him, more so Kevin De Bruyne, but did these players not want to be in the champs? To be fair, Sterling could stay for a couple of years. What is he, 24, 25? You know, how old is Kevin De Bruyne? A lot of players are going to have cold feet about their futures. Sterling's one of the most marketable players. Sterling's one of the, you know, he's rising in England. He's rising in form. He's had a bit of a wobble towards the end of the Prem before it was postponed. But he's a quality player and someone they've got to keep, people. And if he did want to go back to Liverpool, you couldn't begrudge him. I mean, he would fit in very well within that Liverpool side. I'm not sure he would be moved on or sold, but someone would, or there'll be good competition for places. Also, he's very, very marketable. God knows how much Raheem Sterling is going to cost to sign for Liverpool to sign, and considering what City spent 50 million on him since football has changed, 50 million ain't going to cut it anymore. Let me see how long his contract is. And for me, if Liverpool going to sign anyone, as much as I think Sterling would be great at that team, I think the one player they need to go and get is Jadon Sancho, people. He's contracted until 2023, so there's 3 years left to run. Man, they've got him down for a significant period of his future. But what you don't want to happen is, like you're seeing Sterling go up a level and being more clinical in goals and assists. What you don't want to happen is they want it to, but if he keeps bagging these goals and playing and being a difference maker, you're going to find yourself in a position where at 28 years of age, in his prime, you'd assume he's a main player for England and continues doing it in the Prem. You're letting him, and even more marketable, you're letting him go on the cheap, or you're letting him go for free, and it's a dangerous game. And obviously, then he would be in a difficult situation, because by then, at 28 or so, Sterling's got to look to get that last big deal. Do you get it, people? So it's a difficult one, and I mean, he deserves his money. I mean, the facts are there. He's contributed to 27 goals in 39 appearances this season across all comps, 7 assists, 20 goals in 39 appearances. Solely focusing on the Premier League, he's got 24 games and scored 11 goals and only got 2 assists, so Sterling can be better. Champions League, just so you look, I ain't making this up, people, because this looks, I knew Sterling had a good season, but this is looking a bit dodgy, people. In the Champions League, 7 appearances, 5 goals, 4 assists. Are you that? Lord, I deal with Jenna. Mad, Sterling's moving, mad. Like, I can't. The transfer market, sure, people. Are you not sure Sterling's got this? Like, is he moving that mad? Obviously, why you see how the phone's moving bad, mind people? I flicked the screen, I scrolled down, and guess what result it stopped on? It stopped on Arsenal's defeat against City, where Sterling scored. Thank you very much, iPhone, for that. You're evicted. But for now, I've got nothing more to add, people. Like I said, it's disgraceful for Mike Ashley, man. Really, really distasteful, man. Because again, it might not have been his decision, but it's his organisation. You've got to have morals, man. You really just got to have morals. Just be a fucking good human being, man. You lot make enough money. You lot will make enough money. I'm not asking you lot, like most social justice warriors, to donate £1 billion just because you're a billionaire or something. Generally speaking, not in Mike Ashley's case. But just have some fucking morals, man. Like why are you not got no morals? Like, what's going on? Let me get out of here. People, it's always a pleasure speaking and rocking with you guys. But for now, I've got to keep it moving. Deluded. I'm out.